I thank the gentleman from California for yielding. Yeah, I just arrived back in Washington today after a few days back in the district, and I actually spent a lot of time with my dairy farmers and actually many of my different members of the agriculture community and our colleague from Vermont and those of you from California. You have many dairy farmers in your states also, and they're struggling. They're struggling to get the loans that they need. They've had a double whammy. They have had a decrease in milk prices that have a lot of other factors. But when they go to the banks' hands are often tied, and the banks' hands have been tied because of what happened on Wall Street. Then we talk about financial reform protecting Main Street from really the greed and recklessness. And I don't think we use that word enough, the greed that happened on Wall Street. This is not only Main Street, it's the country road. We need to protect our farmers and our small businesses and our entrepreneurs from that greed of Wall Street. I was here, obviously, when we voted for that piece of legislation, the Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, and actually unanimously our colleagues on the other side of the aisle voted against that bill. And yet it was something that really is going to ensure the protection of our farmers, and as we said, our small business owners. As I'm a small business owner. Our company every year depends on that line of credit from our community bank, and we have a very good relationship, as our colleague from Vermont talked about, that relationship that our community banks, our hometown banks, they're doing the job that we expect them to do. But in Wall Street, it was different. And then they get the bailouts, and these figures on your graph right there are fairly shocking in terms of the Wall Street pay in billions. When my farmers are getting up at 4:30 in the morning to milk cows, knowing that they're actually losing money every day. And they're just trying to find a way to stay afloat. And yet these other individuals on Wall Street making billions. So what we need to do is enforce the law, enforce rules that will keep these big banks from making bad decisions and really betting against our country, betting against individuals, betting against homeowners in our country, and ensure that taxpayers never again have to pay for these bailouts that these financial institutions that were really too big to fail. And we had to do what we had to do to keep them solvent and to keep our financial system rolling. But the future is what we're looking at here. And so we've got, as you've got up there now, the Wall Street squeeze, the small businesses who are still struggling, as have been already mentioned, to find those loans to, first of all, keep their businesses afloat, whether it's a farmer or a manufacturer or someone who owns a retail store, or whether to add on. Maybe they want to increase their business right now, but they can't find that loan. And this all goes back to what happened on Wall Street, a system that really benefited the special interests, the lobbyists, and the big banks on Wall Street. So I was very proud to vote for that piece of legislation. We need to get that piece of legislation voted on in the other body and get it out so we can protect those in Pennsylvania's 3rd District, those in California, Vermont, and across this country who are just out there working hard every day, trying to make a living, trying to provide for their families. So financial accountability, that's what we're looking for here. And I appreciate the gentleman bringing this forward tonight.
Thank you very much for that perspective of agriculture. I've been in agriculture all of my life, run a ranch, and I know that the men and women that are in agriculture in California, they need to be able to finance their operations. These are not easy times. They need to extend their credit. They're going to come back. They have in the past, but they really need that credit. But what we've seen very, very clearly in the last year is that